Hello, everybody. How
And
y'all
welcome,
doing?
welcome, welcome. Welcome to another segment
Hello,
of
hello. How y'all doing?
welcome to another segment of Delta Sip with me, Angie Butler. I am your host. And tonight we do have Mr. DeKeither Stamps and Roger Simpson with us. I want to take this opportunity to ask you, if you are out there and you are under the sound of my voice, to please subscribe to the Mike Magazine on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Now, tonight, I am not going to be before you long. I want to talk a little bit to Mr. DeKeither Stamps. And Mr. Stamps, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, first off, thanks for even having me on the show. Y'all have been doing great work for a long time, a lot of different conversations, but it's all
Oh
aimed
yeah.
at moving our community forward. So I just want to say thank you for having me, and thank you for what you do, and Rogers. Just thank you for your commentary, and look forward to moving
Oh
Mississippi
yeah.
forward. A little bit about me. My name is DeKeither Stamps. I grew up in a little small town called Learned, Mississippi. And I went to the military. I retired a few years ago and came back, and was privileged to be on the Jackson City Council. I've been there for the last 7.5 years, and also I got elected to be the Mississippi House of Representatives for District 66.
All
And
right.
so it's my first session in the House, so I've been swinging double duty for the last few months, and I've been just trying to move Mississippi forward.
Great, great.
All right. And we want to say thank you for being on the show. Man, I
Yeah.
remember coming on your show,
Hmm.
Reviving Mississippi. Talk a little bit about the purpose for Reviving Mississippi.
So about 7 years ago, the late Mr. Charles Evers and Dr. Frank McCune got together, and they said, "Well, hey, you're a good young brother. Let's open up a space for you on Wednesday nights, right after Mr. Evers' show." So Mr. Evers opened up a space and got with Dr. McCune, and they did that, and they let me in, and they started teaching me how to do radio. And I just started just keeping the community updated on different things. And
Yeah.
it's been a honor and a privilege to host Revive Mississippi for the last 7 years now on 90.1 every Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday
Great.
night,
That's
man.
great. Every
Yeah.
Listen.
Wednesday night.
Now, we don't even
Now,
filter the calls. Like, I don't know how many politicians out there that don't even feel, just when you call, what you got to say.
don't even filter.
Just let
Don't
it
even
out.
filter the call. Just whatever you got
Go.
to talk about. Every Wednesday
Just
night,
go.
I've been sitting behind that microphone at 6 o'clock every Wednesday night for an hour, and just let people just ask what they got to ask.
Now, Roger Simpson, tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you bring to the table.
Well, I was born in a little bit of town called Indianola, Mississippi. I want to call what BB King's hometown.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated from Valley. I got 29 years of law enforcement, and I got 6 years as an educator. And I bring professionalism or transparency. That's the key thing, transparency. And that's just like Mr. Stamp said, just open your mouth up and let it go. Just
Mm-hmm.
tell it like it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it should be. Just tell your true feelings. And that's what it's all about. Just tell it like it is.
Now, you are also a part of this organization. What is it called, Roger?
Which one?
Where you wear purple and gold boots and
I
stuff.
hop in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi. Been one since 9 Deuce. Uh, Beta Road chapter at Mississippi Valley State University.
Now, I'm glad you brought up
I didn't mean to holler, but when I see the purple and gold on the stream, it kind of gets me so happy. Now these old regular knees might can't hop like they used to, but they can jump. They ain't hopping too much no more now.
Now listen. Now, speaking of Mississippi Valley State University, I want us to shift gears briefly and talk a little bit about Jackson State. That will be the first game.
Lord, don't kill us.
And they everybody knows it's no secret that prime time is in Jackson. what do you think about having prime time at Jackson State University, and you're a city council guy right there in Jackson, DeKeither?
Mhm. Well, it's just been an honor and a privilege to even have the energy level changed around Jackson and
Yeah.
Jackson State football. Jackson State football has been, a very competitive institution for a long time, and it hadn't been as competitive as its history and as the people desire in the last few years. And just, just the hopes of a different future is just very. I'm excited about it, and I'm looking forward to participating.
So,
Now, as you know, I didn't mean to cut in on that, but in the 80s, under W.C. Gordon,
Hmm.
you not know that they had the most people to go to pro.
That's right.
There's some of those, just the Mississippi State and Ole Miss
Hmm.
in the 80s under W.C. Gordon. And I had the opportunity to come to Jackson State, and I wanted to, I wanted to be a Cooler fan. I want to be with Jerry Rice and Satellite Todd. And I never beat Jackson State.
so listen.
Oh well.
So,
You know.
all of that sounds like it's a winner, and it's a winning combination when it comes to bringing revenue to the city of Jackson, hopefully. And we want to take this opportunity to welcome Deion Sanders, and hopefully we can get him on the show one day so that we can talk to some students from the Mississippi Delta area along with him, and just talk about.
Well, it's going to be good for all HBCU football.
Exactly.
For HBCUs to be pulling students out of players out of Division I schools. When he came in, he said, "I'm not trying to steal talent from Mississippi Valley State, Alcorn. I'm trying to get folks from Clemson and Alabama."
There you go. There you go.
What it's going to do is it's going to bring in some things that haven't been done in a long time, bring more sponsorships, and it's going to be good for the conference as a whole.
Because I think they got
eyes on the conference.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be more eyes, more sponsorships. You see now, Under Armour is now, sponsoring Jackson State. They might not have gotten that type of, deal. So it's just good for the institution, so that we can get HBCU football back to. It was a day where SWAC football was just like the SEC.
Yes, sir.
You had Eddie Robinson and W.C. Gordon, and you had Cool. You had all that going on at the same time. And
big Cavs and all going.
One thing that people don't realize is that there are people making billions of dollars on the special things that was going on right there in Mississippi Valley.
Wow.
The West Coast
offense, baby,
came from Mississippi Valley State when they were recruiting Jerry Rice, and they went and took it to San Francisco. And the team, I'm sitting here watching. I'm sitting right now on TV. I'm sitting here watching the Kansas City Chiefs running a variation of the West Coast offense from Mississippi Valley State University.
I was there. When Walter came from the San Francisco 49ers, he brought 7 of his coaches and stayed at the Holiday Inn Hotel in Greenwood. And every day we was out at practice, he out there writing it down. Cooley, what's that called? What happened when y'all line 5 up like that? What happened when you put a 4 on one side and 1 on the other side? What's the concept of that? What is your progressions? What is that progression? I mean, that went on for a whole week. Whole week.
And they took that offense
into
the West Coast offense, and it revolutionized the National Football League.
Yes, sir.
I said that to say there's and skills and things that are locked into HBCU football that we need to own and capitalize ourselves, not just put other people in position, but we need to tear and own them ourselves and push it forward. Right. So I'm excited about it.
And listen,
exactly right.
I'm so glad that you guys are on, because you get to shed some light on some of the history surrounding HBCU football. And we're going to shift gears one more time and continue with the HBCU. Now we have a vice president who went to an HBCU. So HBC, I think this is the season. The time is right for us to start to acknowledge and put things into perspective as it relates to acknowledging the fact that, hey, people in Mississippi and people from HBCUs do have talent. We do have something to bring to the table. We're no longer being looked over. And thanks to people like Deion Sanders, who said, you know what, I'll take a position like that and try and help these young boys become men. Because I hear him say all the time, that's the plan, you know. And going into it, we need to know that HBCUs offer quality education. HBCUs have some of the best doctors, lawyers, and engineers, you name it, coming right there from HBCUs. And I think with Deion Sanders, his thing is he does not want them to get so caught up on going to the NFL more so than becoming productive citizens in the United States or wherever they might go.
And that's true. And another thing, well, how much money do you think? Okay, what the bowl we just started playing a couple of years ago, the Independence Bowl that we played in Atlanta?
That's right.
That was the HBCU against on the East Coast.
Right.
I mean, we get just beat out. $2 million. Just $2 million got to be shared between both of them. Now Alabama play in a bowl. They get $10 million. Alabama gets that now.
Right.
Alabama gets $10 million and sponsorship of the show.
Yeah, we just got to build it up, and it's going to take.
Just got to build it. Exactly.
Got to build it up.
Yes, sir.
Take what we got, and what the best thing we have is our people and our
Amen.
talent.
Amen.
And so we take our talent and we put it on a trajectory to grow it. We're not trying to compete with anybody, but we are trying to grow the best of ourselves.
Okay.
Right.
And try to develop a better version of ourselves on a general basis. And that's the progression. So this is not us competing with anybody. This is
let's go to the Cotton Bowl or the Orange Bowl or to the Tahiti Bowl.
Right. Let's create the best version of ourselves, because I do believe it's marketable. I do believe it draws in eyeballs. You know, so I just know that over time we can build it up ourselves instead of always trying to go, I say a lot, I get beat up a lot about, I believe that integration without proper leadership was the worst thing that ever happened to Black America.
Yes.
The absolute worst thing.
Can I say something?
And so, and we always trying to go integrate some stuff. What we should do is try to build our own and do for self.
That's right.
And I want to say something to that, because Booker T. Washington started off saying, hey, I understand that you guys want to get an education, you want to do this and you want to do that, but let's get a job first. Let's use the skills that we have, and let's make a way for. They were newly freed slaves, man, and nothing against W.E.B. Du Bois, right? But he wanted everybody to go to college, and see, Booker T knew everybody was not going
made for college.
Everybody wasn't made for college.
But check this out. One step further, Booker T. Washington developed 5 cities that are still standing today.
Whoa.
Okay.
Mount Bayou, Mississippi, Grambling University, Horn something, Alabama. It's in Florida. It's another town right outside of Orlando in Florida. He went and drew a circle around some dirt and led Black people and trained them on how to grow a city. And they planted 5 cities. They are the historic Black towns and villages. And those 5 cities. So I said this to say that if Booker T. Washington can land in a place, draw a circle on some dirt, and get Black people to build a city, there is no reason why we can't rebuild one. There's no reason. If Booker T. Washington can build 5 cities that are still standing today.
Look at that.
Tuskegee, Alabama. That's the other one I missed. Tuskegee, Alabama.
Okay.
All right.
It
So
sure
Booker T. Washington can go draw a circle on it and get Black folks together and structured and organized properly to build for themselves 5 cities that are still in perpetuity today.
Yeah.
We can't clean the park up. We
Come
can't.
on now.
Come on now. Our
now.
vision has come so low. We got to raise our sight.
Raise our bar a little high.
To what's even possible. If this one man can draw a circle on dirt in 5 different states.
Come on now.
and land in town and bring black people together.
Look at that.
And say, okay, what are your skills? What are your skills? What are your economies? How can we build a business? How can we build a school? That's where Grambling and Tuskegee came from.
Come on now.
Right? And y'all know intimately what happened in Mount Bayou. So this is where it all came from. So if we can do that, we can do so much greater. We just have to raise our vision, raise our focus, and set our sights to a new height so that we can achieve at the rate that we're supposed to.
Man, let me ask you this.
Man.
Because Jackson, Mississippi. I'm here in the Mississippi Delta, but I hear so many people say, what's going on in Jackson? What's the vision for Jackson? Where do you see Jackson going? Where do you see Jackson moving forward to, or how do you see Jackson moving forward?
Well, Jackson's going to continue to move forward.
Okay.
But we have to submit to the truth that Mississippi is a failed state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
As a state.
Okay.
And it's undeniable. They look at every indicator, from infrastructure to education to economy to all these different things. Mississippi is failing. So Jackson is a microcosm of a failed state. So all the ills you have of a state, they're gonna pool up when you pool up 200,000 people, you're gonna have all those same ills. So we're not gonna be able to move Jackson forward until Mississippi realizes the same thing that Louisiana. See, people in Louisiana are not smarter than us. People in Tennessee are not smarter than us. But Louisiana has figured out that it needs a New Orleans. Tennessee has figured out that it needs a Memphis and a Nashville and a Chattanooga. Mississippi hadn't figured out that it needs a Jackson.
Jackson.
And when Mississippi figures out that it needs a Jackson, because our children are leaving because they want a different type of, they want to do something. They don't want, 5 acres and a house. They want a condo and a coffee shop.
That's right.
That's right. When Mississippi realizes that, we're going to have to build an urban center versus kill an urban center, Mississippi will move forward. Mississippi's economy is flat because it's not investing in the major economic engine that was built to be Jackson, Mississippi.
Roger.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you, what are you hearing people say about Jackson? You are in law enforcement, and I hear it myself, but I want to hear it from someone in law enforcement. What are you hearing as it relates to the crime?
Well, it's just like going over in any other state. Law enforcement is getting a bad rep, a real bad rep, a real reputation because of all the violence and the black on black crimes, and law enforcement is just like probably in a I don't want to say a bind or them trying to do their job, but I mean, until we get past that stigma and that stereotype of us, we just kind of withdraw or just don't try to enforce our job. And that's the big issue. And it's just like in Jackson, that's a high crime area because law enforcement are scared to do their job. And like Mr. Stamp said, until we rise and set our goals higher and say, okay, this is law enforcement, this is how we're supposed to do it. And my thing was with the young man that they killed in Indianapolis. Now, when he put his foot on his neck, that wasn't really against the law because because I've been wanting to say this, is that we got 2 ways of fighting a suspect. We fight standing up and we fight on the ground. But that's only 1-on-1, not 1-on-3. That's why the fault came in. You can't hold that man down and with your foot on his neck like that. That was a submission hold, which only that's a 1-on-1 fight. That's not a 1-on-3 fight.
Well,
but the thing about the crime deal in Jackson is there's several factors.
Yeah.
The blood will continue to flow in the streets as long as there's no legal money flowing in the streets.
Oh man.
See,
I hope I can get that legal money going again.
Well, let me give you an example. And every culture has had it. in the 1800s, you had the cattle rustlers, the cowboys, right?
Yeah,
But
cowboy.
they were locked out of the traditional economy. But when they were involved in the traditional economy, you stopped seeing that activity. The Italians, they were locked out of the traditional economy. When they had created so much violence, they said, "Hold on, we got to involve folks into the economy." And then when they did that, all that mob gangster violence dissipated.
Yeah,
Same thing that has to happen. We have to ourselves as Black people build our own economy because it's nobody else's job to build our economy. Now, people can stop taking from our economy. That's another fight, but we have to respect our own selves, respect our own dollars, and build our own economy because until we understand that it's not the white man's job to give us jobs.
no, it's not. It's not.
Our job to give us jobs.
A job. Yes, sir.
Because if he has to choose between giving his grandson a job and our grandson a job, he's going to choose his grandson. But what I do say is that we need to not allow for folks to steal our economy. See, because integration wasn't about Black folks going to shop in a white neighborhood. No. Integration was about putting a Walmart in your neighborhood, putting a McDonald's in your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And so now you lost your economy. So what we have to do now is fight back to rebuild our own economy so we can move forward and do it consciously. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about their legalized marijuana?
Well, I talk about the dollars first. Mm-hmm. Let's look at how the money is flowing and how the opportunities are flowing. Great. Because I'm for a new industry. I'm for a new economy. But let's make sure that we have our folks lined up. Let's not just agree to legalize something on the same path that other states have when other states have 1% of Black folks involved in it. Okay, so let's have a conversation
that's exactly
about
right.
Money. And let's talk about the credentials and the qualifications and how it's going to be structured. So I'm for new industry, but I'm not for just doing something because it's popular, because I want to make sure that the fine print is in place first before I make a decision. How I feel about an issue and how I will vote on a law, show me the law. Let's craft it out. Let's make sure that we're doing things in a way that people can all participate. But if we're going to do it in a way where nobody can participate but a certain list of people, well, that's a whole nother conversation.
The 1%.
Right.
I totally agree.
You know, I'm all for us getting into natural resources and getting into, I want us to tie into these major industries like gasoline and oil and all. We have to get into those industries and move forward as well.
Because hands already tied in that.
Right. So those things are structured in such a way. So I want to make sure that your son or grandson can granddaughter.
We can drive a truck.
Right. Right. So I just want to make sure that, because everyone's fighting for it. See, Asians, they're not out here registering folks to vote. They're out here building the economy. The Indians out here building the economy. The Hispanics out here building the economy, and they so they're doing a little voting, but not much. So what I'm saying is we have to build an economy. Not only do you folks register to vote, you need to focus on maintaining your dollar in your community.
Now, when I hear integration, I think about the Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
Right? And
it was Black Wall Street.
That's right.
Yes. And I think about how that economy was thriving, and it was to the point where I'm told they would have to come and recruit.
That's right.
Recruit people of skill. Like we talked about a minute ago with Booker T. Washington. People who had skills and education to come over and work for them. Now, I don't know maybe it was the money, but all money, as they say in Mississippi, ain't
good money.
It ended up hurting us in the long run, and we are still hurting because now we feel like they can't make it without us, or vice versa.
Mhm.
These corporations don't care. These corporations, they're gonna rest at night. It's the mom and pops, it's the grassroots organization,
Mhm.
it's the grassroots entrepreneurs
Mhm.
like myself who are out there saying, hey, we can't give up. We know it's gonna get better. You know, with this pandemic, we saw that they were giving out this money for the CARES Act and things of that magnitude. But guess what? It bypassed a lot of people who were supposed to get that money,
Mhm.
right?
A lot of people.
So what do we do then? When
Well,
we do get the money,
so when we get money, we have
Uh-huh.
to spend money on foundational things.
okay?
It's not
Right.
just about you getting $100,000 in a PPP loan and going buy a truck.
Right.
No. What we should do with our money
Mhm.
is focus on your own balance sheet. There's a challenge I want to do.
Okay.
I want to do a challenge or post your credit score.
Oh,
I want to do a post your credit score challenge.
okay.
So we have to spend our money on the things that make us more marketable on a balance sheet. What's your net worth? Let's challenge that. Let's make a list of your debts
Yeah.
and your assets, and let's see who is who.
Okay.
And so
You
those
know,
are the type of things we got to focus on.
and I'm glad you said it like that. A man told me one time, he said, let me tell you something. Those folks standing in those big old houses over there in Grove Park, they said if they miss one check, they're going to go bankrupt. If they miss one check, they're going to go bankrupt.
Right.
And
So
I kind of looked at that and I thought about it. I said, what? He said, if they miss one check, they're going to go bankrupt.
Let me say this. The middle class, I don't know that America was made for middle class. It's like when you say Grove Park, for those who don't know what that is,
I'm sorry.
That's where the people who are making great money, better than, above poverty. Okay, I'll say that. But if they miss one mortgage payment, if they don't do this, if they don't do that, then, they're saying that they're closing that gap. They're gonna, from what I understand, pull the middle class out, close the gap, and it's gonna be extreme. You're gonna be either rich or you're gonna be poor. What do you say about that, DeKeither?
Well, again, at an individual level, we have to have one conversation, and at a collective level. As an individual level, we have to make sure, because we have to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. Are we out here as leaders, and I consider everybody on this panel great leaders in our community, are we making the decision that leaders need to make? Like me, I drive a 2005 Ford Ranger. I got a 2010 Grand Marquis for the highway, and I got an old Chevy Silverado for my work truck. Now, I may be able to afford an Escalade. But I'm trying to make sure that my children and grandchildren are lined up, which means there might be some sacrifices I might need to do personally. So right now, I'm not saying don't go and buy these things, but buy them when your accountant comes to you and says, you know what, you need to spend some money so we can write some stuff off. And you go buy you a toy or something like that. But the majority of us, see, studies have shown us that by 2065, Black America will have zero wealth.
And that's so was the next thing.
Right. So what we have to do is make sure that we have wealth. And then wealth comes from assets and disciplines. So
and that's exactly right.
And so that was going to be my next question, and I actually wrote that down: building wealth. How do we build wealth without feeling offended or without feeling like I deserve? Because when I hear you talk, I hear this scripture where you're supposed to build up for your children and your children's children. That's what comes to mind for me. I think of that scripture, right? And so I hear you talk about sacrifices that may need to be made.
That's right.
We're not people who were taught to cultivate sacrifices.
Well, we were taught it now. Those of us who had big mamas, we we're the last generation that had big mamas.
That's the last.
Okay, so we can't say we wasn't taught. We was the last generation with big mamas. These young folks now, they grandmama 36.
Yes.
You got 5 generations in one house.
All that, you know. So we
I don't want to call.
Yeah, so
5 generations in one house.
First, we got to realize, okay, you know what? New school ain't working. So let me go back to old school.
Okay.
Let me go back. What would my grandfather do?
Wow.
If my grandfather got $100,000 from a PPP loan, what would my grandfather do? What would my great-grandfather do?
You gonna put it under the bed tick.
Yeah.
What kind of moves would he be making? Like
he gonna be put on the bed tick.
He came back from the war and he purchased 33 acres of land, which is the core of our family right now. We built a farm on everything. So let's look at let me make sure I can set some stuff up for the future. Let me build a house. You know why Big Mama's house was always a special place? Where folks, if they fell apart in the world, would come back to. You know why it was special? Wow. Because it was paid for.
Oh wow!
From the moment it was built, it was paid for.
And see,
all right, they went down to the mill. They cut the trees off the land. They went and got some cinder blocks. Went down to the mill, cut the trees up, built the house. From the moment they moved in that house was paid for. So what I'm saying to us, don't buy Escalade if you live in an apartment.
Oh, whoa.
And they do.
Whoa. Okay, I'm saying there's some things. So I'm saying there's some things that we need to be investing in and teaching our children. See, don't teach your child to live lavish when you really, on a balance sheet, don't own nothing. We teaching our child by how we live. I want my children to look back and say, okay, what did my daddy do? I got back from the military. I bought me a little foreclosure house that cost less than $1,000. Work on it. Now it's worth a whole lot more. That's how we have to build our community. To buy the houses in our neighborhood, we have to do the things necessary ourselves personally. Not trying to keep up with nobody, not trying to floss and boss, but personally. As an individual, we have to work on getting ourselves in order and then network with folks who are doing the same thing. So for me, I got a whole bunch of people I associate with, but I got a short list of friends.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
And that short list of friends are men. And I got some female friends, but men who come together and say, you know what, this kind of investment I'm gonna make, this is what I'm gonna make. So when we come together on a couple week basis, we talking about moves that we're making and things we're trying to invest in and how we're trying to make this asset more valuable and this asset more valuable. And that's how we change our community, small groups at a time. That's what Booker T. Washington did. He showed up Mount Bayou, Mississippi. He pulled together a few black folks, brought in a few more, and said, okay, what kind of disciplines you have? What kind of structures you have? Okay. And he walked through it and they built a city. So nobody else gonna come to our neighborhood and build our community. We got to do it.
And with that being said, we're getting comments in our comment section.
Okay.
And we have Dr. King here who says, Big Mama had the people in the community to build those houses. We no longer do that.
Now we do. We just have we got some builders. We got some black builders out there.
We got some builders.
We got folks build a house now. But when we go to build a house, we have to employ them. We have to make sure that we go invest in ourselves. And even if you choose a white builder, you gotta say, okay, now where you getting your material from? Where you getting your workers from? We can't finance our own oppression. So it's gonna take the people who got resources. It's gonna take that talented 10th that they talk about in order to employ the other 90%.
Yes.
So we have to make sure that those who have the means are making the appropriate decisions, that you're doing things to build capacity.
So you're saying that they are there, but we just need to do right by them, employ them, put them to work.
That's right. Put them to work. Ain't nobody coming to put black men to work.
Let me say,
and if black men don't put black men to work, who can put them to work?
And I want to say that I applaud you. You say you meet up with some fellas and you
Mhm.
only have a handful of friends, and you know, I love to encourage people to get you a mentor.
Mhm.
People don't want a mentor anymore. I think in our community, we feel like we pretty much got it together. We know the
Mhm.
direction we want to go in, so there's no need for us to have any type of leadership, because the leadership
Mhm.
rests or resides within me. Somebody has to come
Mhm.
along and help to cultivate the greatness within the
Mhm.
ones in the community. Isn't that
Yeah,
That's
correct?
right.
Don't you need mentors?
that's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
Coaches?
Well,
Roger, you're a coach. Don't you need a coach?
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
You know?
And I was going to say something as far as the economy is concerned, is that uh you know, that's right. You need mentors. And I think my father-in-law was my mentor because he taught me the value of a dollar. You
Okay.
Mhm.
know, once I got married, he put me in one of his houses and
Mhm.
said, "Now listen, now when you get out of this house, you buy your own house.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get out of this house, you ain't got to pay no rent or nothing, and you build
Mhm.
your estate. But you're gonna buy your own house."
That's
And
right.
Mm-hmm.
so over a period of time, I bought my own house.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, paid for that house and bought another house.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and that just how it established. Then I mean, he was blessed before he died, God bless his soul, to own 10 rent houses.
That's right.
Now, let
You
me
know,
say this. When I think of Jackson, because we're talking
Mhm.
about property, I'm seeing that we have a lot of homes that was just
Mhm.
big homes. Some
That's
yeah,
of
right.
them are boarded up, man. And,
Mhm.
and, and Dr. King will say, oh, you know, that's where such and such used to live. Angie, this place has rich history. These homes
Mhm.
were built big like that for a reason. We
Mhm.
so what are we gonna do with the property there?
you know,
Can,
y'all must miss. You remember when all those what's all those Enron and all those big industries that was down in Jackson? All those
Mhm.
$1 billion industries were down in Jackson that went bottoms up. What people were stealing money from them.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
I think it was Enron or something like that. You know, it's a lot of the economy just was faded out in Jackson, and a lot
That's
of
right.
jobs left Jackson.
Well, let me
Mhm.
say this, because in my mind, because I'm right here in Greenville, Mississippi. And
Mhm.
I believe, now this is just me, that we should have people in our community who can say, you know what, let's donate paint to this street. We're going to paint the houses up on this street and we're going to give it a facelift. We're going to make sure that our community is a community built on pride. We're going to pick up the paper. We're going to make sure that we got some type of
Mhm.
landlord. We can get the landlords to get together and donate paint so that we
Mhm.
can give these houses on the block a facelift.
Mhm.
I think if we start taking pride in even the ones that are boarded up, like in Jackson, if we can get somebody to get together, I'm saying landlords, doesn't matter. If we can get Sharon Williams to donate paint, if we can get people to donate
They can
paint
write it off.
and go
No,
in
but here's
exactly.
the thing. Here's the thing. So, folks donate some stuff from time to time. That's fine. But what I say is, what I did with one house is, we had a house here in Jackson that had a lot of drugs, a lot of prostitution and stuff in it, and the owners were out of state because it was an out of state landowner kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was I just bought it,
Wow.
and crime went away,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm fixing it up, and now I'm getting ready to sell it, which is going
Oh
to
wow.
create revenue, which then you go buy
Amen.
another one. So what I
That's
do is,
it.
it's up
That's
to us to rebuild our communities. We should stop. I'm all for other people coming to our community and rebuilding our community, but I'm more so for us participating in that wealth. See, when these out of state come in and they buy 10 houses and they fix them up and then they rent them out, or if they sell them, that
but the
wealth
money is
goes
not gonna
somewhere
be in
else.
our economy.
Exactly. So what I'm encouraging folks to do is live beneath your means so you
Yes.
look good on a balance sheet,
Uh-huh.
and go buy a piece of property and rent it out. That's one thing my grandfather taught us. Have a house to live in and a house to rent.
That's
I
it.
grew up that
That's
way. My mother has rent property today. And so we have to teach that, you know what, we can build our own community up and then participate in the wealth. And I've been blessed that myself, All of my sisters are homeowners, you know, and so we can reinvest in ourselves and participate in the wealth building of our community versus always trying to recruit other people to do the wealth building in our own community.
Right.
Yes, and with that being said, now, I was just talking about an initial facelift.
Right.
You
right.
know how we ride through our neighborhood, and it does something to me because I said, I know we can get somebody to go street by street or block by block and pick out the houses.
You know what, Angie? You know what? That's just like saying you can't see the forest for the trees. You know, doing an uplift on the house. Yeah, I told her, hey, that's well and good, but what's behind that uplift?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? What's behind that uplift?
And I understand that.
Check out. Every Escalade in the community could be another house purchased in the community.
Oh wow.
That's right.
They
That's
cost
right.
more. Escalade costs twice as much as my house.
Well, Escalade costs $100,000.
That's two.
An Escalade costs $100,000.
But how do we know when to buy the home if
you buy low and sell high? That's what you do.
That's right.
You
just like you said, it's just like Mr. Stamp said, instead of painting the face, they'll just buy it.
Just buy it.
Just buy it. That's about $5,500. And guess what? Property, not the house on the property, but the land is more valuable than the house.
No, listen. I'm talking about, say for instance, we have elderly people on the block who houses need to be painted.
Oh yeah, we get donations for that stuff.
We understand. Yeah, you're right about that.
So instead of digging a well in Africa and going to the mission trip, go do a mission trip down the street. Check this out. I'm all for the rest of the world. I believe in. I got hope and faith for the world.
Right.
Yeah.
But my 10% is going down the street.
Okay.
That's it. That's the bottom line.
I mean, I watch TD Jakes all the time. I watch all the different people. If I'm gonna take my money, I'm gonna donate it in my community.
Oh wow. Oh
wow. Period. I ain't got no money for nobody else.
But hold up, DeKeither, because nobody's gonna give you a trophy for buying the house down the street. Now I just want.
But check this out. But one thing we can do, like if you donate money to all these organizations, you can go take $100 at Lowe's and go buy enough of that little spray caulk and that little foam stuff to save 20 houses.
Yes.
Okay. So I ain't talking about we got to take no whole lot of money.
Yes.
We can go start caring about our own people. We got old people shut up in these houses that you can take 100. I done it every year.
Yes.
I do. You can take $100 and go buy enough spray foam and
That's right.
that little door sealant stuff. So that the wind not blowing in these folks' houses.
Cork around their air conditioning in the window.
Right. I mean, we can do. I'm not saying
everybody doesn't have central air.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not asking people to do stuff outside your means.
Right.
What I am saying is, if you take the money that I spend $100 a month in Johnny T's. So if I take that Johnny T money and say, well, let me go put this over here, that's gonna allow me to communicate with some people I wouldn't communicate with before, show people I actually care. Then the more of us that do that, the more of us that do, this pandemic has showed us how much money we waste.
Woo!
That's why everybody got more money. Because the pandemic,
they don't go to the boats no more.
So all that to slim down. So now we're really starting to see how much money we actually have.
Wow.
And I still go to Johnny T's. I go to Johnny T's every Wednesday. So I ain't knocking that. I go there every week.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out what is Johnny T's.
Oh, you got it.
Johnny T's.
Go down there and tell them to give you the DeKeither Stamp special. Get you some shrimp and grits. Take off the sausage and add a piece of catfish, and you're gonna love
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have to go to Johnny T.
Go down Johnny T. But
give me somewhere to go.
If this pandemic has showed us how much money we pass over with all this running around and with that. So now you got this little extra money. Help on your block, because when you help the person down the street, then that builds community. That builds people who care. And guess what? I don't have to worry about a whole lot because everywhere I go in my area, People know I love them. They take after me. They say, hey, I saw a strange car parked over by your house. Oh, I saw this. That's how you keep down crime. People care around you. People care in your little area.
Let me
go ahead.
Now let's shift gears.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you're a state representative, and people are concerned about schools reopening. So it was brought to my attention, and I don't know how true it is, that they're trying to get this vaccine into 100 million arms, okay, in 100 days. How do you feel about schools reopening with new strands or mutations of the coronavirus spinning off from this COVID-19 over and over and over?
Well, what I will say, and I'm not a big vaccine person. I'm not big, I haven't even in the years past taken the flu shot.
But you were in the military.
Yeah. Even then, I didn't do a whole lot of it then,
Okay.
But what I will say is everybody got to take care of yourself. This is serious. This is a killer. Wipe out Black leadership. This virus is going to wipe out Black leadership if we don't put it in check. So we have to take it serious. It's more than just wear a mask. You got to have protocols in place of how you move, how you go around, how you navigate life. Because I lost a friend. This Pastor Ernest Slaughter just passed away here in Jackson. I mean, good brother, young.
Yes.
Okay. So not for anybody. We all know people personally, and if we don't get this thing in check ourselves,
that's right.
Okay, ourselves, you got to have some personal protocols in place. I got children. My daughters are in Alabama. They're back in school, but they got some disciplines and protocols in place for themselves personally, irregardless of what the school is doing. See, this all goes back to self-determination. I don't lend the government responsible for keeping me safe.
Okay.
I don't lend the government responsible for keeping my children safe. What the government does is addition to what their daddy does. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure you have all the stuff you need to be safe. You're gonna have the mask, you're gonna have all these different things, you're gonna have your personal immune system, they're gonna have everything they need to keep the immune system safe, and they're gonna have the discipline to keep their protocols together so they can be safe. And so
now, do you think teachers should get paid more? Roger, you're an educator. I am an educator myself.
You mean hazardous pay?
That too. If schools open back up like they used to be in a traditional sense.
Be honest with you though, Angie, I don't think it's time. I mean, we are hybrid now. I basically teach from the home 2 days a week, and I go to the school 2 days a week. So I teach virtual and I teach hybrid, and we are very, very strict. Once we go in the building, we spraying, we wiping down, and we're doing everything we need to do. And if you will notice, not a lot of parents have their children coming to the school.
Okay.
And it's kind of a strain because now you got, I might have 6 kids in the room, but I still got to teach virtual too now. I still got to teach those kids online. So, it's kind of stressful, but a little bit. But like I said, this pandemic, like 405 people dead, and it's a killer. It's a killer, and they better recognize that. So I'm not a pro and con for reopening the school, but this virus is no joke. This is a killer.
It's nothing to play with.
What I will say is that we gotta teach testing. I get tested every Wednesday for the coronavirus.
Wow.
Everybody in general population should get tested once a month. You should test and segregate. Test and segregate. So people talking to different things about different approaches. It's just like any other viral attack. You test, you segregate the ones who have it, you test the other ones again in a couple of weeks, you segregate those out until we continually test and segregate.
Right.
Add that to the mix, you're going to continue to let people get infected.
Right.
Because these people get the virus from folks they know, like, and trust.
And that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So everybody should get tested once a month in general population. Every leader should get tested every week.
Mm.
It was just like doing Thanksgiving. A family of 11, a family came home to Alabama for a Thanksgiving break. And they thought, well, we ain't worried about 11 now. 4 of them died and the rest of them was infected. You know, I mean, I don't know. I had my best friend that I played football with in college. You know, I was talking to him 2 weeks, and the next week he was sick, and the next week he was dead. Frank Collins, Big Mike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, wait a minute now. I mean, I'm talking to him 1 week, the next week he's sick, and the next week he dead. Now, why they do that there?
It's serious.
It's serious.
It's serious, but the new norm is here. And
I don't understand.
I don't even like to call it the new norm. I believe if we allow, if we listen and allow the mandates to come down and we do our part, I believe we'll get back to normal. And I was listening to Fauci.
Fauci was speaking the truth.
I'm not a big fan of Tony Fauci. My husband is. But
Fauci is more like a numbers man. He more like a numbers man. Well, 30% here, 80% here, 20% here. See, he's more of a number. He's more of a number man.
Well, Fauci is saying that if we do what we need to do, we should see some type of normalcy in the fall. But will we hold each other accountable? Will we continue to do what we need to do? Because I'm here in the Delta and they're having parties, honey. These parties are jumping every weekend, wall to wall, like Johnny Taylor said, wall to wall, back to back. Everywhere I look, I saw something that I lacked. Yeah, that wall to wall, and it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. So we as leaders, that's why it all comes from leadership now. Again, when I said earlier that Mississippi is a failed state, America is a failed nation when it comes to a coronavirus, and Mississippi is a failed state. Do you know that more people have died from the coronavirus in Mississippi in the last 11 months than all the soldiers who have died in the Iraq War in 18 years?
That's sad.
And you just said in Mississippi.
See, in Mississippi alone, more people have died from COVID in the last 11 months than all soldiers from all states in the whole Iraq War.
I remember on March the 11th.
That's a lot of deaths.
I remember on March 11th, 2020. There was 4 people dead and 11 had got the coronavirus.
That's
4
right.
people dead and 11 had the virus. March the 4th, 2020, 4 people had died and 11 people was infected with the coronavirus. On March the 11th. It ain't been a year.
That's right.
Come on now.
That's why
this ain't no joke.
This ain't no joke. In our community, limit your interaction. But you know what? God shut the churches and the clubs down for us to focus on the home. All right, use this time wisely to rebuild your home life. Let's have dinner in the evening time. Let's sit down and talk. Let's rebuild our spiritual home inside the house. Let's rebuild our own communication. Let's rebuild our own house. You know, the housing market is booming. So if you want to invest in something, okay, take this little extra money you're getting every month and let's not go buy a Lexus. Let's go buy, another rental house. Let's fix it up. You can social distance and paint. You can social distance and carpenter. You know what I'm saying? So
Let
that's
me
some
say
things
this.
we can be doing to build wealth.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
And that's why, listen, when I hear you talk, you put me back into the position where I love these certain shows. I like to watch Little House on the Prairie. I like to watch Andy Griffith. Because you make me feel like we can get back to basics and still be effective.
That's right. We know what works.
But nobody.
Check this out. I built a urban garden here in Jackson, and we got 20 senior citizens who haven't bought a vegetable in 6 months.
Oh, wow.
They got a high tunnel out there. They're growing greens. Check this out. They're growing greens and tomatoes in December, in January.
Okay.
Oh, no. Ain't
Right
no way.
now. Okay. So
Ain't no way.
because it's inside. So what I'm saying is use this time to reconnect with nature. It's some things we can do. Our vegetables are much better than the ones at Walmart. Right? So there's some things we can do as community. Use this shutdown kind of time to rebuild our personal life, rebuild our personal finances. If you're getting a little extra money every month, whether it be stimulus, whatever, let's pay off some debt. Let's make sure when we come out of this thing, we're in a better position than when we came in.
Amen.
So if you save a little money every month, put that money toward chipping away at your debt. Chip away at your debt to make sure that you are sexy on a balance sheet. When they look at your financial picture, you balance sheet sexy.
Yeah. Boy, you got away with words sometimes.
So listen,
Man.
guys, we have Dr. Felicia King, who wants to say. She has something that she wants to say, and I brought her in, Dr. King.
Hey, y'all.
Hello,
Hey,
how you
Doc.
doing?
I'm not on camera because I'm not fit to be seen.
That's all right. Black is beautiful, darling.
How y'all doing?
All right. How you doing, ma'am?
All right. Well, I think that the window has passed. I was gonna make some comments on some of the things y'all said, but
That's fine. Recap. It's all good.
It's all right, yeah.
oh, recap.
I'm telling you, he got away with them words.
Well, let me go back to the Grove Park comment. I'm a product of Grove Park.
Grove Park, good people.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You know about Grove Park? No, in Indianola.
No, he's talking about, I know. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well,
But we got Grove Park in Jackson too. Good people in Grove Park.
Okay,
yeah, I'm familiar with Grove Park in Jackson. But let me give you a little backdrop, Representative DeKeither, because you're not from Indianola. A little history about Grove Park.
Mm-hmm.
Grove Park was known as Pecan Grove. I don't know.
Number one house out there.
It was known as Pecan Grove. It was owned by a white family. It was, I don't know how many acres it was, but the acres of land was sold off, and the people who bought the land was Black people. My family was the first house to be built down there, and so it got a reputation for during that time that if a person, Black people in particular, if a Black person built in Grove Park, they had this stigma of they were rich.
They were uppity, yeah.
No, I ain't say uppity. That's how we were perceived. But the people in Grove Park, the ones that I know, my family included, they worked hard for what they got.
Oh,
and they, I know as a child growing up, being a product from that neighborhood, there was a lot of hate going on. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was a lot of hating going on.
Well, McKean.
So I guess what I want, I just want to lend a voice to those people that were able to build something from what they had. I think it's commendable to be a light to Black people, that you don't always have to live in poverty, live in slums, or what have you. You can have nice things. Because I know my family was humble. Now I can't speak for everybody else there, but my family was humble, and my family worked hard for what they got. And I think even now to this day, I'm 45 years old. I am grateful almost every day for the sacrifices my parents made for me and my siblings for us to have a life that was different from a whole lot of people.
Right.
Kept us out of a lot of crap. So I just wanted to shed some light on that about Grove Park.
Well, maybe I should have.
And now we got French Road, which is
now we got French Road. I don't know what they're saying about that. Oh, maybe I should have said.
But
Maybe
we
I
have to
should have
raise
said
the
Green
standards,
Acres.
right? We have to raise the standards of it's okay to aspire for Black excellence.
Yes.
Exactly.
See, right now we've become addicted to the worst of us, and we're addicted to the worst of us. When I say that, every culture has its negative or maybe subculture. But what we have to do is raise our head a little bit and stop just looking at examples of the worst of us and pick out examples of the best of us. And if you don't have an example in your neighborhood, best of you, pick out the examples of the best of us historically and aspire to be greater.
To
Right
be
now,
great.
our aspirations are so low
I agree.
because, we're allowing for the WAP culture
Yeah.
to become the aspiration of our women.
Yeah.
We're
But Dr.
allowing for
King,
these other things to lower our view and expectation of ourselves.
Dr. King, you did make this statement here. It is up on the screen, and it says, yep, you were in agreement with DeKeither Stamps, Representative Stamps, when he said we should live below our means. We should make it our business. Can you expound on why you agree with him?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Even though I'm a product of the middle class, I wasn't taught financial literacy until I got in business, and I was put in position to be around other people who had financial literacy, who had resources, and I had to learn how to shift my thinking as well. And it's a learning process, especially if you grew up in a way where you looking at things. If you got things, that means you're worth something. That's how we view stuff. If we're able to buy something, we attach our value to that thing that we buy.
Right.
But that opposite is true. The less stuff we have, well, I'm finding that the less stuff I have, the less stress I have.
That's
I don't
right.
have to be trying to think about how to take care of this thing or making sure this thing is taken care of and all that stuff. And then I can move my resources, move my energy to something that is more viable for not only for me, but for other people as well. So,
Roger.
yeah, I mean, I don't like my car. Like, okay, so I'm 45, and the car I drive now is the second car I've ever owned in my life, and it's used, and I bought it used. Now,
Let me ask Rogers.
the first
Let me
car I
ask
bought,
Rogers.
the first car I bought, actually, my parents actually bought that car for me. It was brand new. This car right here, I promise you, I will never buy a brand new car again, ever, ever.
That's true. That's
A car
true.
ain't number parts. It's still gonna need an oil change. It's gonna need gas. It's gonna need
Gonna need some time.
Yeah. So
Need all of that.
yeah.
So there's no need for that.
Yeah, so we just have to focus on things that build our community and grow. And so, as individual leaders and as collective leaders, we're having a hard time now amassing collective leadership because we don't have enough individuals that are truly doing self-sacrifice for themselves, and then being able to come to the table. We have a lot of folks that come to the table with a conversation. But very few people come to the conversation and says, okay, all right, now everybody, it's time to fill out this application.
You're time to do this.
Let's see, you can't practice group economics with conversation.
That's right.
We got a bunch of
You got a bunch of conversation.
all right? But when it's time when the bank, and when all your five of y'all sit at the bank and they pass out those blank balance sheets and everybody got to write down their debts, their liabilities,
That's right.
their income, their assets, and they add them up on one line and add them up on the other line, and they subtract the two and say, okay, your net worth is $5. Your net worth, whatever. We have
That's
to
right.
individually have less conversationalists, but have more people who have the appropriate disciplines in place, and then let those people drive the conversation.
Now, let me say something. Rogers, can you give us, and I'm going to take myself out so the three of you all can be there. I remember you saying how your father-in-law brought you in under his wing, and he was like a mentor, and a father and a mentor to you as it relates to wealth and how to be a homeowner, and from there you went on to accumulate more wealth. Can you talk about how you grew up? Because we know.
I was that young buck that stayed on Kinlock Road. As a matter of fact, we had kerosene light when they put that black pole in front of our house. That was telling me then, okay, electricity is on its way. We didn't have electricity. We had pump water. And my granddad, and that's why, I understand the values of growing up and being real poor, not poor, but real poor. Grass used to grow through cracks in our house. My granddaddy used to go and warm the outhouses up early in the morning while it's cold so we can go out and use the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I understand all that. And I appreciate that, once I became older and understood, my mama raised 5 kids by herself. I don't know nothing about being hungry, but I wanted to always be a Boy Scout. I couldn't be a Boy Scout. Mom said, no, that's not on our agenda. I couldn't get a bike every Christmas. That wasn't on our agenda. She was trying to put some food on the table for us, and I appreciate her for that. But as I got older and, I went to college and I graduated from college and I went on and got my master's degree. And so I started, making a little taste of money. So my father said, listen, let me take you on my wing and show you what to do with that money. Mm-hmm. And he invested in houses and buy like you said, sir, buy old houses, fix them up. And he got all the way up to 10 houses. And so I did the same thing. I bought my first house, and then I bought my second house, and then I bought my third house. And now, since he had passed, and my mother-in-law has got up to age, so she divided the house. Well, my brother-in-law, I don't know if you know Attorney Dwayne Richardson. He's a DA in South Florida, Florida, in Washington County. Mm-hmm. And so they split all the houses up with them, and now we sitting right there with 6 houses paid for. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And they sit in his house is land sitting on the edge of BB King Road. So maybe my statement was kind of like vague about being in Grove Park, but I wasn't meaning by as far as if you missed a check, but it's just the way that we growed up. Mm-hmm. But I'm blessed. Yes, ma'am.
And I just want to say thank you for painting that picture, because you have to appreciate where you started.
I was dirt poor.
To know you're going, and to even know that you want something better. The mindset has to change. The music has to change. I know you want to listen to Rick Ross. I know you want to listen to all these others. But
Tupac.
Right.
Yeah. We're listening. We're living in the golden age of being able to know whatever we want to know.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
See, in today's age, if you want to learn about real estate, you go on YouTube. You want to learn about stocks. You want to learn about different things. So it's a matter right now of what are we spending the bulk of our time doing, getting better or getting worse? And you're going to be doing one of those two things. And if we would just take this time we have, if we could just take this time we have and not fall victim to some of the subculture activity, but spend the bulk of our time getting better. Now, we may have our little things we want to watch for entertainment, and that's just entertainment, right?
That's right.
The Super Bowl,
leave that entertainment.
Right. Sunday evenings, I watch football.
Yeah.
Just to give myself a mental break from all week long, all these other things. Right.
Amen.
But that's just entertainment. That's not real. I don't even treat it like real life. It's just entertainment. But then spend the bulk of my time when I'm working, I got some other things playing in the background, learning about stocks and learning about this, learning about that. We can do that. And if we spend the bulk of our time focused on getting better and being better, we're going to be better as a community.
That's
And
right.
the operative word is if. Okay.
If.
And on that
That's-
note, I want to thank everybody for being on. Dr. King, did you want to say any other words before we go?
Oh, well, thank you for the quick ad.
Yes,
And I do want to
absolutely.
say that I want to say that I want to say something about the city girls. I I'm getting older, so the little this new rap and stuff that's coming out. But city girls, yeah, I don't know if y'all familiar with them or not. I think they're out of Florida. You know, they from I guess the WAP culture. But there's this one song they had. I can't think of the name of that song, but no, there's a part that this one young lady says that sticks with me. Now, all of the other stuff they said in there, I can't remember, but she is talking about getting with a guy with some money. And one of the parts she says, I'll show you how to network. I might be getting it wrong, but I want something like I want to know what your net worth. I thought that was so something for that little young girl to talk about. She knew about asking this fella, what's your net worth, bruh? You know what I'm saying? In this song. I just thought that was just something. So I guess a part of me is glad to hear that a youngster is even
Yes,
thinking about that because I know I wasn't taught that.
yes,
I didn't
yes,
learn that till after
yes,
I got out of started my own business basically.
yeah.
And I use there are some things that I use that I would like to share with people that I use this system to help me utilize my money in a way where it's
Yeah.
balanced. And that's when I realized that now this is gonna be a controversial statement, but I came to realize that there really is no true poverty in America, poverty mindset, but not as far as resources. I remember when I first started working, when you work, well, I was working this job and I think I might have been making 20 some $1,000 a year. Now, that's poverty. Okay.
Yeah.
Quote, quote, poverty. So I learned this system where I divided my money up into categories. I had a necessities account, I had a play account, I had a gift account, I had a long-term savings account. I had all these different accounts, right? And I would
Baller,
stash my
baller,
money. I would stash
baller,
my money. Say it again now.
baller.
I not well. I
She
learned
ain't
how to
balling with
ball
no
by
twenty
taking twenty
thousand
thousand
dollars.
dollars.
She ain't balling with no $20,000.
Well,
Oh,
I
she was
did.
going
I'm gonna
somewhere
tell.
And,
with
I'm gonna
and
it.
tell
McKean
you.
and McKean, you had too many accounts.
Now let me finish. Let me finish. So I had all of whatever my necessities were, my
Yeah.
bills for my necessities.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
put it in an envelope.
Yeah.
I got paid twice a month. I put that money, I split that money up, put that in there, and the rest of that money I divvied it up and put into each one of those accounts. The only thing I was left with after when I used that system every month was my mindset. I was freaking out thinking I ain't have no money, but then I look up like I got money, all my bills are paid. Plus I got play money where I can go to places like Johnny T's and ball out. I still live by that system. I don't care how much money I got.
I gotta go to Johnny T's. I gotta get
I
Oh
that.
yeah,
want to
that's the
say
spot.
now,
So
thank you,
it
but
can.
Dr.
What
King,
I'm saying is,
I
it
just
can be done.
okay,
Yeah.
and we about to wrap this thing up, y'all. And I do want to say, Dr. King, when before you came on, Representative DeKeither Stamps made the statement that the pandemic has shown us that the money is available. We do have the
Oh
money, so
yeah.
where are we putting the money? Show
You
me
know,
the money. Where
Angela,
is the money?
I live by a mantra that's
Thank you,
called.
Dr. King.
This is I'm gonna give you last one little tidbit, and it's a way that everybody cannot have any relationship arguments about money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it to you.
No relationship arguments. What do you
About
mean?
money. You
One
know,
relationship, husband and wife.
most relationships break apart because of money problems,
Money.
right? The
Right.
money, right? So
Show
I
me the
live by a
money.
mantra. It's called 10, 20, 70. If you take your money up and you divide it up into 10% you give away, 20% you save, and 70% you live off of, right? Then Same thing with that's brother Roger. You married, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now, what I done found is that if you break this up and do this in your marriage, you don't have to worry about arguing about money. Because if you give away 10%, save 20%, and your wife knows that she can take this 70%, pay her the few bills y'all agree on, y'all split it up, and I don't even check for what's going on in that 70%. I don't even, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. Because that 10, that 20% is already in place.
You know, I take the big check and give it away to her. That's not a little bitty check. my little police check.
And so however you break it up, what I'm saying is, what I done found about is that when people don't have a closed fist on money, but just have some disciplines and practices in place,
right?
That person, especially in a marriage, that woman will go off and make 10 times more money. Because, you know, I just need to increase my 70%.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will save money. My wife drive a Lexus, and I don't even worry about it because it's paid for. She paid for it herself. No, she do what she go on a vacation. Normally before Corona, she go on vacation all the time.
You know, I asked my children, I asked my girl, I said, do y'all know what PO is? They said, no. You know, it's amazing. You know, I said, do y'all know what PO is? No, Daddy. I mean, my daughter just graduated from high school. You know, we just bought her a car. Yeah. I mean, my older daughter, as a matter of fact, she stay in Jackson. I'm about to call her and tell her she got to take me to JT. Yeah. She's in dental school at Mississippi College. Okay. You know, this is her last year, so she's going to be going to I cannot pronounce that college in Tennessee, in Nashville. Yeah. Mary Ramona, something like that. Yeah. She's going to be going there for dental school, so, you know.
You know when I realized my children weren't poor, brother?
Uh-huh.
When I realized that my 12-year-old has never eaten a bologna sandwich. Oh. Now, I grew up on mayonnaise sandwiches and jelly sandwiches.
Sugar sandwich, syrup sandwiches, sugar water.
About 2 years ago, I realized that my children
don't even like bologna. Don't even like bologna.
When my daughter was like, what's bologna? I'm happy to get bologna because I had mayonnaise sandwiches and tomato sandwiches and jelly sandwiches.
Yes, sir.
Thought I was something when I had peanut butter in the jelly sandwich.
And you thought it was a steak?
I thought that bologna was just time. I went from that to potted meat.
Man,
and then came bologna and Vienna. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And people don't know about that spam. But that spam was when you really had a little money.
You top shelf, you got spam now.
You got some money when you got some spam. You got that spam. Woo-wee.
Listen.
Yeah. Listen. So, hey, I appreciate the conversation. Anytime y'all want me to come back, I appreciate it.
Man, I enjoyed it, sir. I really enjoyed it. I'd like to meet you someday.
Anytime.
Yes, sir.
We enjoyed having you on the show, DeKeither, man. Look, let's talk a little bit about Super Bowl before we go. Tom Brady, what were you saying about Tom Brady?
Who won the second game?
Oh, Mahomes did. The Chiefs.
Okay, Kansas City. Okay. Tampa Bay by 2 touchdowns. I ain't changing nothing.
Hey, but before I even got on the show, what was the comment I made to you on your other show?
You said don't count Brady out or something.
No, I said don't bet against Brady.
Don't bet against him.
Right. Don't bet against him. Hey, yes. You know, some people don't like people because they win a lot.
Okay.
But what that does is you're subconsciously blocking excellence from your life because you hate it in other people's life. Uh-huh. Some people don't like LeBron because he win a lot.
Yes.
If your argument is simply that they win a lot, you're blocking that from even attracting it in your own life. So for me, I celebrate excellence because I want to see it in my own life. I want to manifest it. So that's why I celebrate excellence no matter who's doing it, whether it be the little guy on the street or the guy in the Super Bowl. I
Yes, sir.
celebrate all excellence because I
Oh,
want to
wow.
attract it in my life.
Oh wow.
So hats off to them. Remember, it's only entertainment. You
It's only
watching other
entertainment.
people making money.
You
Spend
heard?
the bulk of your time focus on your money, your
Yes, sir.
dollar, and then when you're ready to entertain yourself, then you go watch. So in 2 weeks, work your butt off for the next 2 weeks.
I
and
am.
then take a break and reward yourself by watching the Super Bowl.
Yes,
But
sir.
don't
And
get caught up in other folks' money.
don't
Hello.
bet against. Don't bet against Brady.
Don't bet against Brady either.
And don't bet against Brady.
Don't bet against Brady. I told you.
Because some folks said that the Saints quarterback and team was better. It ain't like he beat scrub teams now.
Come on, he got 6 Super Bowls, 12 division titles under his belt now.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So but again, each his own. Remember, it's only entertainment. Tonight we stop talking about football, start talking about your balance, and I want to start that challenge about your credit score challenge.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was about to say that post your credit score challenge.
Right, I'm gonna post mine tonight.
Don't
Okay.
do that.
I'm
Hold
gonna
up.
post it tonight.
Hold up. Give me a minute.
No, Negro, no, boss. If I said let's do the bust it challenge, you could be let's go bust it right now. Let's go. Now, come on.
No,
Post your score.
my,
See what
my
happens.
husband will. I cannot do the busted challenge, and I
That's
gotta talk
right.
to my husband. I gotta talk to my husband before I do anything. This
Or talk to
related
your
to the
husband,
family.
but do the credit score challenge.
That's right.
I mean, I tell
But
you right now, my credit score is a 736, and I got the lowest credit score in the house
That sounds like a BMW.
because all of the major stuff is on me, So
Yeah.
But listen, thank you guys so much for your time. Roger, did you want to say anything before we leave, except other than don't bet against Brady?
Don't bet against Brady. That's all I got to say.
hey, I love y'all.
I'm gonna say
Godspeed.
that for 2 more weeks. Don't bet against Brady. Don't bet against Brady. But I mean, I enjoyed it, man. It was very educational, very uplifting, and it was a great show. And I think we should do this. Like I said, I think this should be something, more often.
Anytime.
And
It
more
will
often.
be. Thank
Yes,
you
ma'am.
so much, Representative Stamps. And you have a quote that Roger and I said we're going to I'm not going to say we're going to take it, but we're going to borrow.
It ain't mine.
Hey, he didn't patent it. He didn't patent it. It's not
I
patent.
don't own it.
He don't own the rights to that.
Yeah, teamwork make the dream work now.
The teamwork make the dream work, baby.
It takes a team to make a dream.
It takes a team to make a dream.
That's it.
I love it. Man, I'm gonna write that down right now so I won't forget it. But you get that down, and you got it. Angie, you got it.
You know I wrote it down.
Anytime you come to Jackson, I treat you to dinner, social distance, out on the patio at Johnny T's.
Wow.
Anytime you can have dinner on me.
Wow.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I'm coming now.
right.
I'm coming to Johnny T's now.
All right, good deal.
Man, great. Nice talking to you.
Yes,
You heard
sir.
it right here first. So you need to take them up on that offer and don't bet against Brady. Everybody
And don't bet against Brady now.
Everybody
I told him. I ain't no bandwagon jumper, but don't bet against Brady.
You did jump the bandwagon, and that's a
I'm not a Patriot fan. I'm a Brady fan.
Right.
I'm a Brady. Hey, I was a Brady
fan.
fan ever since he left Michigan. That's right.
You guys have a good evening.